everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kayla and it's time to crack into a good book. So today's video is the first in what I envision to be a series of videos about author spotlights. So what I'm thinking for these videos is to talk about authors that I really like and just kind of give you an overview of their series and like where you should start in my opinion, and some just general thoughts about these series and books. So for the first of these author spotlight videos, I figured I'm going to talk about Jim Butcher, who's one of my favorite authors. So I think I'm going to start with working my way from my least liked series, which is honestly still very much liked, all the way up to my most liked series. The first book that I'm going to talk about for his series is The Aeronaut's Windlass, which is the first book in the Cinder Spires. So this came out in 2015, and there haven't been any more books released in this series yet, but I think Jim Butcher went through like a really hard time just with like divorces and just a lot of personal stuff. So he's been not really writing all that much, but like, you know, I totally understand that. Obviously, you know, like I would love to read more of his books, but I think it's just best to take the time that he needs to recover and then write the books that we all deserve. But anyway, so this book is like a steampunk high fantasy book where there's ships that fly around, so that's kind of fun. So we've got like, I mean, it's steampunk, so steam-powered technology and stuff. There's, I think, cities set up in like the sky, you know, just lots of noble families. There's an ancient enemy of humanity that is awakening. To be honest, I don't really remember all that much about this book because I think I read it when it first came out. And, you know, I've read so many books in between there. So I seem to remember, I really liked it. I did give it 4 out of 5 stars. Some of the characters, especially like the female characters, would sometimes say like these quirky things that just seems like a little shoehorned in, I guess. You know, like they're sassy just because they are like the sassy character. But, you know, when I was reading it, that didn't really bother me. I think that whole realization came in a discussion with my best friend. But, you know, it's still a fun series. If you're looking for like a high fantasy steampunk, I would definitely suggest this. I'm generally not big on steampunk myself, so to find a steampunk series, or book in this case, that I really like is kind of says something, I think, you know. I enjoyed it, so hopefully you will too. The next series I'm going to talk about is the Codex Alera series. So it's a 6-book series. Sadly, I don't have my copies with me. They're back home with my parents. But anyway, this is like a high fantasy series, and I think the whole premise behind this was like somebody made him a bet that he couldn't combine Pokemon and Roman legions, and this series is the result of that bet. So in this series, I mean, we've got people who can like bond with elementals, and they're, again, I read this a long time ago, so I'm kind of hazy on the details. I seem to remember like some sort of giant spiders or like crazy creatures or something like that. There's, you know, lots of battles. We're fighting evil monsters. The first few books take place in like it's not really like a magic school, a training academy. I'm like totally blanking on the phrase of what that is called. But like our main character goes to this academy and, you know, learns how to fight in the Roman Legion-esque fighting group. I think there was some romance. I think a lot of people don't tend to like this series all that much, but I really appreciated it. I gave all the books 5 out of 5 stars. I think it's a really fun concept, and I just really like Jim Butcher's writing. I think he writes really well. It's just very fast-paced and like easy to read. And the first book in this series is called Furies of Calderon, and I think Calderon is the like continent or the world. I don't remember. There's like some scheming and politics going on as well. So like it's fun. I would recommend picking it up. If you're maybe not sure if you're going to love it, you know, try to find it from the library or for super cheap. So now we're going to talk about the Dresden Files. That is by far my favorite series of his. So this is just like a collection of short stories that recently came out. The majority of my Dresden Files collections is also at home. So that's kind of tragic for me because I would love to reread it. Anyway, so the first book is Stormfront. And I want to say books 1 through 3 are sort of more like police procedurals where you've got like a mystery to solve, murder mystery to be solved. And then, you know, it really just like picks up. I I know some people, especially like on the fantasy subreddit, really kind of hit on books 1 through 3 and they're like, oh, this isn't really all that great. I don't remember having any problems with it. I have loved every single Dresden Files book that has come out. So, I mean, if you want more opinions on this, you can always browse there or Goodreads or whatever. But if you trust me, I would say pick these up. They're great. Anyway, so in this, it's an urban fantasy series set in Chicago where we've got like fae, vampires, werewolves. I think there's some demons, angels. I can't remember if they're like gods necessarily, but there's a whole bunch of magical creatures. So that's always really fun. And our main character, Harry Dresden, is a wizard, and he's great. He's kind of snarky. I think some people think that he's like a little, I don't know, like maybe like the writing towards the women is like a little not so great. And what I mean by this is like it kind of objectifies women. But again, I don't remember ever picking up on that while reading, so maybe it's just like a personal experience with reading them. But if you're worried about it, I mean, feel free to, get other people's opinions. But like I said, I didn't have a problem with it. I think these books are great. We're on book 16 maybe, so that's going to be Peace Talks, which he just finished writing, and I'm so pumped about that. So in this, I think it's supposed to be like a 26 book series, which is quite a bit, or maybe like 23 book series and then like a 3-book post-apocalyptic thing. I don't know. I'm excited. I'm going to read everything, that he comes out with. But anyway, so like I said, books 1 through 3 are more like police procedurals, and then we kind of expand the world. And there's several story arcs that we experience throughout the books. We've got the Wizard Council. There's some fighting with some of the various vampires. So we've got like different kinds of vampires. There's like the normal typical blood-sucking vampires. There's like psychic vampires. So it's really cool, I think, to see just different creatures. So I think in December last year, he came out with like a little short story thing that bridges us between book 15 and upcoming book Peace Talks, book 16. And oh my God, it was like so much happened in that little short story. I was just like, holy shit, I need to get my hands on Peace Talks right now. I'm like, I don't want to spoil anything because it's a lot. So I think this kind of wraps it up here, and just to give you like a brief overview of each of his series, I just really love all of his books and highly recommend that you pick them up. For, like I've kind of mentioned, I think it's Codex Alera series. If you're not sure about that, maybe pick it up from the library. The Cinder Spires series, obviously I'm going to buy everything that Jim Butcher comes out with, but like maybe if you're not quite sure about it, again, you can borrow it from the library. But Dresden Files, I would highly recommend that you purchase because I just love them so much. And a lot of them I think are out in like mass market paperbacks, so you can get them for fairly cheap. But yeah, so let me know in the comments what you think about this video and just like the general video idea. Like, do you think this is something that could be interesting? Do you think I should go into more depth? Like, it's kind of hard because I don't know, I want to expose these authors to like a wide range of people, and I don't know how much detail to go into basically. So I feel like just the general overview and like my thoughts about the books is kind of the way to go. But again, just let me know what you think. I'd greatly appreciate that. If you've read any Jim Butcher or think you might pick up some Jim Butcher, just drop a comment and let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you're having a good day and reading something excellent. And I will see you in the next one.